Multiple rounds of snow are about to hammer the United States in rapid succession, and what comes after the snow will be even worse. Three separate winter systems are lining up like dominoes, ready to fall across the Midwest, Great Lakes, and Northeast. The first is happening right now. The second hits tomorrow. The third arrives this weekend with the potential to finally deliver a major snowstorm to the Interstate 95 corridor, an area that's been completely ripped off so far this season. But here's what terrifies me most. Behind all this snow, a blast of Arctic air so intense it could send temperatures plummeting to minus 24 degrees with wind chills approaching minus 50. Are you ready for what's coming? Stay with me for 30 seconds and I'll show you exactly which cities get buried this week when the Arctic blast arrives and why this weekend could bring the snowstorm the Northeast has been waiting for all season. Right now, at this very moment, heavy snow is pounding New England and the interior Northeast. Rain falls where snow dominated last week. But that's about to change dramatically over the next 24 to 48 hours as cold air drops down. Any lingering moisture transforms, snow showers develop, then a solid heavier area of snow dives into the region Friday. The current system brings heavy snow to New England this morning. More energy already enters the northern Rockies. You can see snow diving down between both systems. The entire region is littered with watches, warnings, and advisories. There's a massive amount happening simultaneously. Let's start across the plains. Winter weather advisories already reissued for the next area of snow moving in. High wind warnings blanket the Dakotas and surrounding states. Iowa faces wind advisories. Current winter storm warnings expire within 30 minutes for the system that just swung through. Up in New England and the Northeast, ongoing winter weather advisories cover accumulating snow. Winter storm warnings posted for the Tug Hill Plateau, the Adirondacks, even southern Vermont. And check this out. Blizzard warnings up for West Virginia for aggressive back-edge northwest flow snow. Winter weather advisories surround that area. In fact, advisories extend all the way down into the Smokies. I'm watching closely to see if some of these upgrade to winter storm warnings in higher elevations along the Tennessee-North Carolina line. Wind advisories everywhere. Very windy system. Strong northwest flow event trending much farther south all the way into the southern Appalachian Mountains. Special weather statements cover strong, gusty winds over the next 24 hours. There's an enormous amount happening. I think we'll see winter weather advisories issued over the next 24 hours for what's coming. Everything's blended together. Multiple areas of energy swinging through simultaneously. Let me walk you through both current and incoming systems step by step so you know exactly when to prepare. The timeline shows heavy snow continuing for the interior Northeast. Rain stays along the Interstate 95 corridor. By this evening, 5, 6, 7 p.m., rain persists in New York City and Boston, but heavy wet snow hammers the interior favored higher elevated regions of New England. This continues. We might get a brief switch to snow later tonight in Boston. After that, lake-enhanced snow follows off Lake Huron, Lake Erie, Lake Ontario. Wispy lake effect snow bands. Not a huge deal from that component. Now at the 5-minute mark, like I promised, let me show you the hidden storm nobody's talking about. Drop south to the central and southern Appalachian Mountains. There's potential for a blizzard. In fact, a blizzard is on the way. Blizzard warnings posted for good reason. Rain moves over the central to southern Appalachians. It switches to heavy snow in higher elevations of West Virginia. An all-out blizzard develops. Northwest flow event gets cranking. The HRRR model always undermodels this. There will be more moisture associated with it. Higher elevations could get several inches of snow above 3,000 to 4,000 feet, even down into the Tennessee-North Carolina mountains. This has trended into a pretty aggressive northwest flow event. Getting into tonight, snow continues as far south as the Smokies. We could even see flurries in the Tri-Cities area, maybe some bursts of moderate snow. That's what we're dealing with right now. But there's so much more coming. Nothing major individually, just lots of minor to moderate events stacking up. Here comes another clipper diving in, starting tomorrow morning. This brings heavy snow across Minneapolis tomorrow morning, early afternoon. Then it dives into the Midwest. This one's colder, definitely colder compared to the system you just dealt with. Cold enough for snow in Chicago, Peoria, Bloomington. Around 5 to 6 p.m. tomorrow afternoon, snow moves through Bloomington, Peoria, Chicago, Madison, Milwaukee, gets all the way to Indianapolis. A swath of accumulating snow extends to Louisville, Cincinnati, Dayton by 9-10 p.m. tomorrow night. Snow still falling in Chicago. Kalamazoo getting snow. The big question is, how far south does it penetrate? Right now, it looks locked in for this area, but we're seeing some back and forth. A round of snow moves right into West Virginia, takes over Ohio in the middle of the night tomorrow into Friday morning. Multiple model runs show slightly different solutions, but they all agree on substantial snow. The NAM model shows this energy continuing to dive south, potentially bringing accumulating snow even farther into areas that desperately want winter weather. Friday morning brings snow across portions of the Ohio Valley, Central Appalachians. Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana, southern Michigan all see accumulating snow. Even portions of the Central Appalachians down through the Smokies could see snow Friday morning into afternoon. Some computer models show snow potentially reaching as far south as northern Georgia mountains. That's how far south this clipper could dive. Elevation dependent, of course. Higher elevations see more. But the trend keeps pushing this system southward. Saturday brings yet another round. The third system in rapid succession. This one potentially combines with additional energy as it moves east. What happens after that? Sunday into Monday, we might enter a quiet period as a ridge begins dominating the area. But for the eastern U.S., things get trickier. Here comes that third area of snow. Not Friday's system. This is Saturday. 3 consecutive days. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. This one probably hits the Ohio Valley again into the central Appalachian Mountains. A wintry weekend approaches. Energy can combine a bit. We could get some snow for Delmarva, the Tidewater, really the Delmarva region and areas of New Jersey. Some snow tries entering the northeast. Recent model runs look much better. Snow dips all the way back down into southern Appalachian Mountains. Mountains of North Carolina, Tennessee. A swath of moderate snowfall develops. Even heavy snow Sunday morning across areas that really haven't seen much snow this season. It tries building a low-pressure system off the coastline Sunday, bringing accumulating snow along the Interstate 95 corridor. Then, a shot of cold air follows. The GFS model shows the same pattern. Delivers snow a bit farther south Sunday, but doesn't quite reach the I-95 corridor fully. The Euro AI model swings this through and delivers a pretty nice snow event across the northeast, the I-95 corridor. You have to watch the Mid-Atlantic with this setup. Snow potentially all the way down to southern Appalachian Mountains, mountains of Tennessee and North Carolina. This ends up turning into a nice snowstorm, several inches across areas of the Interstate 95 corridor. The Euro Ensemble signal shows Friday's event dipping south with a little signal even into the Mid-Atlantic. Then the next event arrives. There's definitely a signal. The latest runs look even more impressive, so we'll continue monitoring this closely. But regardless of whether we get a northeast snowstorm or not, here comes the blast of cold air. Behind the first trough, digging happening right now into the later portion of this week, Arctic air follows. Very, very cold air. This continues trending slightly colder. It's actually beginning to trend a bit farther south again. We had this Arctic air mass showing up pretty far south. Then it trended north. Now it's trending back farther south again. As we get into the end of this weekend, a very cold air mass moves in, freezes everything through the end of the weekend into the start of next week. Then we see a warm-up. Looks like a widespread lower 48 warm-up. That makes sense if you look at the trough digging down. This swings south, continues trending slightly south, brings very cold air to the eastern U.S. Then the ridge builds in. That explains the warmer-than-average temperature anomalies. Let me break down the snowfall potential city by city so you know exactly what to expect. Starting with Minnesota and Wisconsin. Northern Minnesota could see 1/2 inch to 4 inches from the current system. Southern Wisconsin will be the main target area. Illinois and Indiana face several inches. Chicago could get as little as an inch, but definitely accumulating snow. North central Illinois down into central Indiana sees 2 to 5 inches. Indianapolis faces a pretty decent event, 2 to 5 inches on the way. Ohio gets hammered. Columbus, Dayton, Wilmington, Cincinnati all see 3 to 4 inches from this clipper diving in. Kentucky sees a few inches between now and 7 p.m. Friday. Watch areas like London, Elizabethtown. Can this trend a bit farther south? There's probably another round of snow in this area later in the weekend not included in this forecast. The cumulative effect becomes significant. Not one big storm, but 3 consecutive systems, each bringing modest amounts, but they add up fast. Travel becomes treacherous for days. Snow removal can't keep up. Roads stay slick between events. The blizzard in West Virginia deserves special attention. Blizzard warnings aren't issued lightly. This means sustained winds or frequent gusts exceeding 35 miles per hour, combined with considerable falling or blowing snow, reducing visibility below a quarter mile for at least 3 hours. Higher elevations of West Virginia face whiteout conditions. Travel becomes impossible. Not just difficult, impossible. You can't see the road. You can't see other vehicles. You can't see anything. People die in these conditions every year, thinking they can push through. They can't. The Northwest Flow event amplifies everything. Cold air screaming across relatively warm lake waters, picking up moisture, dumping it as snow on downwind shores. Elevation enhances the effect. Mountains wring moisture from air like squeezing a sponge. Lake effect snow operates differently than regular snow. It sets up in narrow bands. Intense in the band, nothing outside it. You can be in clear conditions, drive 5 miles. Suddenly you're in a blizzard. Then 5 miles later, clear again. It's disorienting, dangerous, deadly if you're not prepared. The third system this weekend carries the highest uncertainty, but also the highest potential. Models diverge on exact track, on exact intensity, on exact snowfall amounts. But they agree something happens. Energy phases. A coastal low develops, snow falls somewhere. The Interstate 95 corridor has been starved for snow. Winter started with big promises. None delivered. This could finally be the storm that changes that. Or it could stay too far offshore. Or track too far north. Or temperatures stay too warm. There are a million ways this fails. But there's also a realistic scenario where this works, where everything comes together, where phasing occurs perfectly, where cold air arrives on time, where the coastal low develops in exactly the right spot, and the I-95 corridor from D.C. to Boston gets buried. 6 inches? 8 inches? Maybe more in favored locations. That kind of snowfall in major metro areas creates chaos. Airports close, highways shut down, millions of people affected. The economic impact runs into billions. But we're not there yet. It's still days away. Models will change. Forecasts will evolve. What looks likely today might look impossible tomorrow, or vice versa. This is why continuous monitoring matters. This is why you can't just check once and assume you know. The Arctic blast behind all these systems represents the real danger. Snow you can prepare for, cold this intense, becomes life-threatening. Minus 24-degree actual temperatures in northern Minnesota, below zero in Indianapolis. These aren't wind chills. These are actual air temperatures. Add wind to that equation and wind chills plummet to minus 50 in spots. At minus 50, exposed skin freezes in 5 minutes. Not an hour, not 30 minutes, 5 minutes. That's how long you have before frostbite begins, before tissue damage occurs, before permanent injury happens. This isn't weather you can tough out. This isn't weather where you run to your car without proper clothing. This is weather that kills. Quickly, efficiently, without mercy. Every extreme cold event claims lives. People who underestimate the danger, who think they're tougher than the weather, who make one small mistake that becomes fatal. Preparation becomes critical. Multiple layers of readiness, backup plans for backup plans. Because when systems fail in extreme cold, they fail catastrophically. Furnaces quit, pipes burst, power goes out, cars won't start. And suddenly, you're in a survival situation. Stock up now while stores have supplies. After the snow starts, shelves empty. After power fails, it's too late. Food that doesn't require cooking, water stored safely, medications refilled, batteries fresh, flashlights working, generator tested, fuel topped off. Know where warming shelters are located. Have a way to get there if needed. Check on elderly neighbors, on those living alone, on those with medical conditions. Neighbor helping neighbors saves lives during these events. Bring pets inside. They cannot survive this cold. Livestock needs shelter, extra bedding, insulated water sources that won't freeze. Animals die faster than people realize in extreme cold, especially when combined with wind. Vehicle preparation prevents tragedy. Winter survival kit in every car. Blankets, food, water, first aid, jumper cables, ice scraper, shovel, sand or cat litter for traction, flares or reflectors. Keep gas tanks above half full always. The timeline over the next 5 days looks like this. Today through tonight, heavy snow in New England and interior Northeast, blizzard in West Virginia. Tomorrow, Clipper number 2 brings snow to Midwest and Ohio Valley. Friday, snow continues spreading. Saturday, Clipper number 3 arrives. Sunday, potential coastal storm develops. Each day brings new hazards. Each system adds to existing snowpack. Each event strains resources a bit more. By the time we reach Monday, exhaustion sets in. Equipment breaks down. People make mistakes. Accidents multiply. The pattern beyond next week remains uncertain. Some indications suggest a brief warm-up. Others show continued cold. The ridge building brings warmer than average temperatures briefly. How long does it last? Will it extend through Christmas? Or does another Arctic blast reload? Too early to know with confidence. But the immediate future is clear. Multiple rounds of snow, followed by dangerous cold, followed by potential major snowstorm, followed by more cold. An active period stretching through the weekend at minimum. For snow lovers, this is what you've been waiting for. Multiple chances, various locations, different types of snow, lake effect, clipper snow, potential coastal storm, something for everyone who enjoys winter weather. For those who dread winter, this is your nightmare scenario. Relentless, unforgiving, dangerous, one system after another, no breaks, no relief. Just continuous winter weather impacts for days on end. Travel during this period requires extreme caution. Build extra time into every trip. Have emergency supplies in vehicles. Tell someone your route and expected arrival time. Be prepared to shelter in place if conditions deteriorate. Flight delays and cancellations will be widespread. Multiple airports affected. Multiple days affected. If you have travel plans, monitor forecasts closely. Consider delaying if possible, or departing early before the worst hits, or waiting until everything passes. Trying to thread the needle between systems rarely works as planned. The atmospheric pattern driving all this shows classic winter configuration. Trough in the east, ridge in the west, jet stream positioned perfectly to guide systems through the Midwest and Great Lakes. Storm track established, energy keeps coming, cold air keeps reloading. This could continue well beyond next weekend. The pattern shows no signs of breaking, no indication of significant change. We might be locked into this through mid-December or longer. That means more snow, more cold, more winter weather impacts. Some computer models hint at a pattern shift around Christmas week, but that's 10 days to 2 weeks away. In meteorology terms, that's an eternity. Models struggle with accuracy beyond 7 days. 10 to 14-day forecasts are more art than science. What we know with confidence is the next 5 to 7 days. Multiple snow systems, Arctic blast, potential coastal storm. Everything beyond that carries much higher uncertainty. The next update will track how these systems actually perform versus forecasts. Did Minneapolis get the heavy snow predicted? Did the Clipper dive as far south as models showed? Did West Virginia's blizzard verify? Did the weekend coastal storm develop? We'll also monitor the Arctic blast intensity. Did temperatures reach -24 in northern Minnesota? Did wind chills hit -50? How far south did the cold penetrate? Did it trend farther south as recent models suggest? And most importantly, we'll watch that weekend system. Does it deliver for the Interstate 95 corridor? Or does it disappoint again? This could be the storm everyone's been waiting for. Or it could be another tease. Another near miss. Another what could have been. Weather is dynamic. Forecasts evolve. Small changes in track produce huge differences in impacts. A 50-mile shift turns a foot of snow into a dusting. A 2-degree temperature difference changes snow to rain or rain to ice. This is why you can't just check once and move on. This is why continuous updates matter. This is why staying informed saves lives. The atmosphere doesn't stop evolving, neither can our vigilance. Winter is here. The pattern is active. Multiple systems are lined up. Cold air is loading. Potential is high, but uncertainty remains. Stay tuned, stay alert, stay prepared. The next several days will test everyone across the northern half of the country, but with proper preparation and appropriate caution, you can navigate this safely. Until next time, multiple rounds of snow are on the way, a blast of Arctic air is coming, and this weekend might finally deliver what the Northeast has been waiting for. Stay safe out there.